What I'd like to do over the next couple minutes is just give you an idea of this new concept in teaching called flipping the classroom. As some of you are aware, over the last 5 years I've been teaching a couple of my computer classes online. And one of the neat features of teaching online was this ability to record what you had taught the students during that particular lesson and give them the opportunity at their own convenience to replay some of those ideas. The only problem was I was using the ministry's sort of online learning techniques and programs. And what I wanted to do was figure out kind of a free version that I could use with all my classes. So what I did was I investigated a couple of things that you can do for free online. And what I want to show you over the next 5 or so minutes is how to use those and how you might implement them in your classes. Now, what we're going to do is basically get you to become familiar with this type of application from our school website. Right over here on the right hand side in Student Resources I have a link called Web Apps, and this will bring us to sort of my base site where I use a lot of the ideas and I implement them from this website I've created. And like I said, we're going to focus on one of the concepts called flipping the classroom. And basically the idea of flipping the classroom is that you spend more time walking around the class, taking up homework, and less time doing the traditional lecture. So in essence, the homework becomes the lesson, and you're spending all your class time walking around helping kids doing project-based learning. And in essence, you take away that part and let the kids play the lesson at home as many times as they want in preparation for the day's work that comes up the next day. Now, what's the reality? Well, the reality is if kids don't do homework regularly, what's going to make them do homework now? And it's true, that happens. And it's kind of tough to get over that little barrier, but eventually you do sort of get the kids used to that. And you know, in a funny way, I've had some students say, "Sir, one night I had nothing better to do, and I thought I'd watch your videos, and actually they weren't too bad." And in a roundabout way, I guess that's a compliment. The second reality is for the teachers listening to this and watching this lesson is a lot of you don't have computers in your classroom, or you might have one at the most. So it's easy for me to say that it's a neat thing and you should do it, but we're still a little bit a ways from having full implementation. With some wireless now in our rooms, I guess in the future we're going to see a situation where we have what we call BYOD, bring your own device, and maybe that way we'll have more and more applications of these computer technologies everywhere, not just in the computer labs and maybe the library. Okay, so what do you need to actually do this thing called a flipped classroom? Okay, so I want to show you that. So from this website that I told you I created, I'm going to work my way down, and one of the main things you need when you flip the classroom is a place to put your stuff. And the one that I found for free that you can use fairly easily and you can hit the ground running is this site called Edmodo. I'm going to demonstrate it in a few minutes. Okay. Another thing that you need when you flip the classroom is what I'm doing right now with you guys. I am recording myself teaching a lesson. And a very common one that I use is called Screencast-O-Matic. Okay, so that's what you're seeing right now. I'm using this recorded lesson technique, and this is a free site. Now, if you don't feel up to recording lessons, you don't have to. There are other ways to present material to students. You can, for instance, create these things called webcasts, which are sort of directed ways to do a lesson or a unit. Okay, and this is a webcast that I made that you could guide students through a series of questions, problems, tasks, and you can incorporate in the process obviously links to another site, some videos, some PDF files, so you don't necessarily have to make a video. Okay, that's just one way to present the material. And then there's other cool things you can do. You can incorporate flashcards. Sometimes they're called Quizlets. Here's an example of a Quizlet. When you're doing a little thing on spreadsheets, you can have a little Quizlet, remind them of some definitions they would need. Okay, other things that you can do. You can do online polls. You don't want to do anything at all. You just want to take some videos that are already pre-made. You can do that. You don't have to make your own videos. You don't have to flip the classroom that way. The most famous of the sites that allow you to record or watch recorded lessons is the Khan Academy. All right, it's got a heavy science, math base, but there also is, surprise, surprise, some stuff on art, history, things like that. So all these little things here are lessons that this Salman Khan has recorded. I'll just click on one just to give you an idea what it looks like.
Whereas to simplify, m to the third and then that squared all over mx to the third, all of that to the fourth power. And they want us to express our answer in exponential form. And then
Okay, so that just gives you an idea of what you can do. Now, I know that's basically science, math based, but there's other ones. All right, there's a neat site called Watch and Learn, which has a little bit more of everything. All right, so all kinds of mathematics, language, arts, and again, same kind of idea. These are pre-made videos, so if you don't feel comfortable creating your own videos, you can use these sites. All right, let's work our way down. Where are we going with this? Well, you don't even need textbooks in your class. You could link to sites that have textbooks that students could use. So that's another way to present the material. One of the cooler ones that I've become familiar with is a site called Flexbook. Okay, and it has quite a few textbooks from English, math, science, history, and this is a typical Flexbook. And I'll just flip it a couple of pages just to give you an idea what it's like. This one's on calculus, I think. All right, and it's the actual notes like you would get in a real textbook. Okay, and there's probably embedded videos in here. I'll slide it to show you where there is some embedded videos. Okay, so go through a couple of these. I think there's an embedded video coming up. Okay, so there's some videos right there. Now, what's cool about this site is that what if you want to create your own book? You can. What this allows you to do, I'm back to the Flexbook site, is it lets you take, for instance, here's some examples from math, for instance. You might have 2 or 3 textbooks or 2 or 3 algebra books, and you like one chapter from one page book and another chapter from another book. Well, you can mix and match. Here's one I'm going to click on in calculus, some various chapters, and you can drag and drop the various chapters over here that you like. And each chapter has different things. You can look at them and go, you know what, I like that chapter, but I don't like this one. I'll drag this one here, and then you give kids access to these books. And they're like a regular math textbook, all right, and it has, examples like you would in a regular book. It has videos embedded like I showed you a few minutes ago. It has review questions, and it has the full answers, okay? So to finish up, so what's my place that I keep my stuff look like? All right, so like I said, the LMS, that's the fancy word for a place where you put your stuff, that I use is called Edmodo, and I'm going to go there for a second. And basically, if you wanted to use a site like this, what you would do is you would sign in as a teacher. I'm going to sign in right now. I've already become a member. And when you sign in, you would create your classes. So over here on the left-hand side of the screen where I'm using the mouse, you would create a class. There's a number of my classes. Each class, let me go back over now to the right-hand side, would be given a group code. And what would happen is, once you get yourself set up, the next day you would tell the kids, go to this site, sign in, and when it asks you for your group code, type in those 6 different numbers and letters. Okay? Once they got in, they would see something like this. This is my BTT 101 class, just a grade 9 class, simple class that I have this semester. And the look and feel of this is almost like a Facebook, Twitter type thing. Just small little snippets of information every day. I'm going to slide down a little bit farther down to the bottom and just give you a couple of examples of lessons that are pre-done. So we'll put ourselves right there, word and column table. So this would have been a lesson on February the 18th. I would have told the kids, listen, I want you to watch this lesson tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to work on some problems that involve creating columns and tables in Microsoft Word. Okay, so what they would do is they would go home, or even in class if they had a few minutes, they would press here, and they would listen to me teaching the lesson.
Alright guys, what we're going to do today is take a look at two more advanced concepts in word processing. We're going to take a look at picking columns and also working with tables.
Okay, so that's me teaching the lesson. So that's one thing that you can do in Edmodo. And like I said, you don't have to make your own videos. Here's another example lesson. And again, these are all little posts that you would do every day. Let's work our way up to... See, these are all different examples. Okay, so here's one we were doing last week on publishing using Microsoft Publisher. Okay, and again, these are lessons that you could do. And then we did PowerPoint. All right, and here's some that are just links to a site that has a neat tutorial that is done already for you. Okay, so this one isn't really a video. Okay, and it's just a tutorial that would step the students through the basics of using PowerPoint. Okay, so they would go through that, and that would be their homework that night. Okay, they wouldn't have to do any problems. They would just go through the examples, look at them, maybe try them out on their computer if they want to, but there was no sort of project or problem to work on. All right, so that is again from that perspective. There's another thing you could do. All right, so you can do sample videos, you can do sample notes, and then obviously you can do things like a poll. All right, so it's a poll that I gave out yesterday to figure out what is one of your favorite things that you've learned so far in this course on web apps. All right, they can also do quizzes. We had a quiz yesterday. All right, and what's cool about these quizzes is they're good for multiple choice, fill in the blanks, true, false, and the students do them online, and the instant they submit it, they see the results. All right, so this is the sample quiz I gave out yesterday, and I'll just show you the students in particular. So did fairly well, got 16 out of 20. This is the sample, for instance, multiple choice question, and there is the correct answer, and he got it right. Okay, let's jump to number 10. He wrote down D, and the correct answer was B. Okay, and instantly they see the results. So very neat, easy to set up. You don't have to use Scantron. You have to go back to the photocopy room to mark your answers. They're right there online, easy for you to use. To finish up, I'll show you how kids submit assignments in Edmodo. And we'll slide down a little bit. There was an assignment I had last week that they handed in. Okay, so there it is, this desktop publishing assignment. So I'll press here and I'll give you an idea what it looks like when you hand it in. So this is the perspective of a teacher you're looking at. Obviously, the students, what they would do is they would sign in and then submit their assignment into a sort of a virtual Dropbox, and it would get uploaded to the site. And I'll show you the students. Okay, so this was a three-part assignment. They handed in a Microsoft Publisher actual sort of a newsletter that they had to do right in Hamilton in our class using Microsoft Publisher. The other two they could have done from anywhere. All right, and just to give you an idea, instead of having to do it in Word, or in this case Microsoft Publisher, I had them do a resume online. And there's a site called Do You Buzz, and this student decided to use it as one of his questions, and he did an online resume. Okay, be kind of useful for a careers class. All right, he put together kind of a cool looking site, and he didn't have to do any sort of major programming or anything. The site did a lot of it for itself. It just asked the person some questions, and he put together a resume. All right, give you one more example. We also in this unit did what are called word clouds, and I'll show you his answer as I back up. Okay, so here's a word cloud, and I had them analyze some speech and then have the word cloud emphasize the words that happened the most in this particular person's speech, and this was an Obama speech the student decided to do. Okay, and that's maybe a good use for history classes and things like that. So that's the whole concept, how you use some of this neat technology and implement it in all your different types of courses. And if you have any questions, please come into my room anytime you want, room 121, and we do all kinds of neat stuff, especially with my grade 9 class and even my computer classes. There's all kinds of different ones that I'm doing it in, and now I basically teach all my classes this way.